Howdy do, everybody. Welcome back.
So this is my very first perennial. I planted this one last year. This is a rhubarb plant. This rhubarb will get big. It'll spread inside of this tire. Now, I will probably divide it and propagate it over the years, and I will put it other places. Especially now knowing that you can actually plant other things alongside rhubarb and have them commingle. Something will bring, either the rhubarb will bring in something, or the other vegetable or spice or whatever I have planted along with it will actually add to the soil and help amend stuff that this needs, that needs, that sort of thing. All right, so here we have this year's vegetable gardens, which were last year's vegetable gardens. We have 2 beds. These are both 3 foot by 6 foot, 8 foot. And then behind me I have a 2 foot by 3 foot. This already has a lot of mint in it, and I haven't decided this year if I'm going to sort of carve out the middle, put in some fresh soil, and then plant a tomato in here or not. Over here we have 3 beds. So these beds I've used for 2 years now, and I've put some of the chicken manure in it from earlier in the year. And what I'll do is I'm going to decide which of these beds I'm going to start planting some perennials in. I think I'm going to start with asparagus. And when you put asparagus in, you don't move it, because it can produce for up to 20 to 25 years, I believe is the number. And it stays in the same spot. Now, asparagus is nice. It actually goes together and complements certain other vegetables, like tomatoes. So I like to grow a lot of tomatoes. My family flies through the tomatoes. We can stewed tomatoes. We do salsas, and we've even ventured out and tried pickling some tomatoes. Not sure how I felt about the pickled tomatoes. I've only tried them once. I'm going to give them another go here before too long. But because it helps the tomatoes, I will plant the asparagus in one of these 2 boxes, and that will be where I have a tendency to plant tomato. Now here with old Scary Billy here, we've got some perennial fruits. This should be yellow raspberry. Excuse me. This is yellow raspberry. We've got another yellow raspberry here. We have wild strawberry that I've relocated from down my driveway. It grows wild down there, but it doesn't have any rain or irrigation. Here I have irrigation for it, so these wild strawberries that are here, they've just gone mad and they've spread like wildfire. And what they're going to do is they'll give me some fresh fruit. More or less, I'm just using it for ground cover. I also have hidden down here some lemon thyme. It smells wonderful, and hopefully the strawberry doesn't choke it out. I'm hoping that it grows alongside each other, and that it'll keep growing. But if I have to cut back the strawberries, I have to cut back the strawberries. I also have some more thyme over here in a planter that has been doing me quite well for, I think it's going on 3 years now. I have my happy rosemary bush right here up in this stand, because rosemary really likes a well-drained soil so that it doesn't have root rot. And since I put it out here in its own container, just like this, it has been thriving. You can see maybe on camera, I'll get a close-up shot of this, but it has blue flowers on it already, and it is late winter, early spring. And yeah, I mean, I can't believe it has flowers. It's been flowering all year since last summer. It has just been thriving here. So That is also a perennial. Very, very important if you like to make Italian food. To have a nice rosemary plant in here. If you like doing chicken and stuff like that, rosemary is a wonderful accent, and it's always great to have around. It's super easy to grow, at least here in our climate in Oregon. It's lots of water. As long as you make sure that it has enough well-drained soil, which well-drained soil in Oregon is hard to come by, it just thrives. It'll thrive. Don't let it sit in a mud puddle. All right, and here, what we have in this is 2 horseradish plants, and from what I understand, you could plant asparagus in with horseradish and they complement each other. So I might plant some crowns of asparagus in here. The tricky part is keeping them separate enough so that I can dig the horseradish and pull out the horseradish root and harvest it every year and not disturb my asparagus crowns. Because I am going to make a garden large enough to supplement a lot more of our food usage, I had to plan out a space out here with vegetables that I will be able to grow even in what I would consider not as great soil. The chickens have been helping me out a little bit with this. That's why I made them a mobile chicken coop, so that I could bring them into this space and get them to fertilize a little bit as the winter progresses. Now, I moved them quite a ways over here because I got to the point where I kind of had to, because I've never done this, use this area for a garden before, I had to go in, spray herbicide. I know what you're thinking, herbicide is horrible for the environment. Yes, but I feel sometimes it's a necessary evil at first. Now, at first means when I get this all tilled under and I start working this soil properly, I do not want to have to be using it again. So I will be on top of maintaining the soil and amending the soil properly so that I don't have to use it again. This should be a one-off moment for me when it comes to using herbicide in this area. I think I'm going to need about a 12-foot by 12-foot area to plant enough corn to store some corn for the winter, as well as have corn for the summer, because I love grilling up corn on the cob on the barbecue, and corn off the cob cans and freezes very easily. Alright, so the plan is to use this old dog kennel for my pole beans and my snap peas. I'm going to grow sugar snap peas along the wall here, and then I'm going to grow pole beans along the south facing. The reason I'm going to do it that way is because my pole beans will grow at a slower rate than my sugar snap peas. The snap peas grow at such a fast rate that they're going to grow up and they're going to cover this side, and then they're going to be done by the time these come on. So in the inside of here, apparently I can grow beets while I'm growing one or two of these other things. I don't know how I feel about that, but I might try and do it. So another thing that I'm super excited for this year is these are my strawberry beds, which appear to have been getting ate at by a lot of bugs right over the winter, but that's okay. So these strawberries actually produced quite a bit last year, and that was their first year, and they had barely been established. So now, because strawberries are a perennial fruit, These I expect to take off this year. This year, you should definitely go out and subsidize your food bill with a little bit of a garden. If you, even the smallest amount of garden helps a lot. I usually plant around 4 tomato plants a year, and that's enough for me to can for all of winter, plus have oodles of fresh tomatoes all the way through the summer. I'm going to plant new perennial vegetables this year. Everything from asparagus to more berries. I'm going to plant some more fruit trees. I'm going to plant artichokes, which winter over well here. I'm going to plant perennial onions. So we got Welsh onion and we got Egyptian walking onion, which when I get those planted and they start growing up and they're harvestable, I will be over the moon. Now, the drawback to some of these perennial vegetables is they won't be harvestable this year. My Welsh onions and my Egyptian walking onions probably won't be harvestable this year because I want them to grow and propagate and create more of them so that next year I will have quite a few and I will be actually able to start using them. So I might harvest just a tiny little bit of them just so that I can show you guys. This is a bare root fig tree. What they are is they're dormant right now, all the trees, not just the figs, but you got apples, you got pears. This is the best time to start planting all those right now because they're in their dormant state and they're about to pop out of their dormant state. It is best to do it while they're still dormant because it will avoid root shock or just shock to the plant in general. This way they'll have enough time as the spring rains, the heavy rains start to hit the ground, and they'll get to establish those roots, spread out, and get nice and deep, and get used to their area. And then, here in the spring, they'll start shooting up, and they'll focus more on the going up instead of the going down and out. So, this is something that I'm going to get to planting this year. I've had the most horrible luck with figs. Hopefully this one will do me better. This one's a Chicago hardy fig, which means it should hold up in the cold weather. All the figs that I've planted, the fig trees that I've planted have been cold hardy trees, but yeah, one thing or another got to them. I think one year I actually got a little guy who was doing really well, and then a rabbit come and snatched off the top of him. And then the roots were established, they tried to take off again, and then it was all downhill from there. That one went away. I planted another one a year later. It was in the soil, and then it just died back, and then some sprouts again come up, but then it just completely died off. So hopefully I can get this guy to take off. I really would love to start a fig. There are good cold hardy figs that'll grow in the Pacific Northwest. It's not impossible, but for me, this might be my last time trying this. Alright, the other good options to plant right about now is it's a great time to plant your asparagus roots, or crowns I should say, and loganberries, raspberries, anything a bare root that's kind of dormant right now would be perfect for right now. Alright, welcome to the berry patch. What we got out here is, I think I have 4 blueberries left. We've got, between these T-posts, we got raspberries and blackberries. I'm going to add a loganberry to that right now. In the middle here, I'm going to plant a little tiny fig tree, which it'll be a long time till it interferes with these blueberries. So either these blueberries are going to get established and happy, or they're probably going to die off because I have a love-hate relationship with my blueberries. I know this is the Pacific Northwest and where they should grow awesome, but for some reason, I always manage to kill off blueberry plants. Don't know why. So, let me get to putting this here fig tree in the ground. tell this time of year, but I have 2 blueberry bushes here, and then I have 1 and 2 blueberry bushes here. Right in that dark spot, we planted that little fig tree right around here. Now right here, we have 1, 2 gooseberry plants, and between here, this is all raspberry and blackberry. They're kind of 4 or 5 different varieties intermixed. I know they compete with each other, but I really don't care because I've had some die back on me quite horribly before all this, and this is just kind of what has come up since then. But I'll never tell you that I am a professional at anything. I'm kind of just a jack of all trades, if you will. So, and a master of none. So that's what we got going on here. This spring it'll be amazing to show you guys the difference. But right now is for the most part planting stages for most everything in the gardens. It's a good time to go through and weed stuff. If you do chemicals, it's a good time to kill it before things start leafing, start budding. The things that are dormant can handle a little bit of spray around them right now. I sprayed several weeks ago around these blueberry bushes because they were getting overrun by grass. No matter what I did, I kept pulling grass and pulling grass. Finally, I broke down and I had to actually go in and spray and kill it back so that these blueberries could survive. I think that's what happened to the blueberry bush I had over here in the far corner. I think that it died back because I didn't have the grasses killed well enough around it. It was too much competition. So I'm actually going to go over here and we're going to get a close-up of what I have going on in that part of the garden. I have one of the few flowers that I actually have, which I have an azalea here, and I have an azalea right here on the end, just kind of to attract pollinators as best I can. So back here I have 4 honeyberry bushes, which are something close to a blueberry. Haven't had those yet because this is only the 2nd year they've gone in. I think they're finally established. They look like they're actually setting up pretty good right now. They're already starting to put on their green foliage. I've got these 2 and these 2. If you ever get honeyberries, you need to make sure that you have a male and female if you want them to produce. So I think if I remember correctly, I have 1 male here, female, and then there's a little guy at the end. That would be another male. And then right here we have an ornamental elderberry. So this is one of those red-leafed elderberry plants. It stayed really small for about 2 years. Last year it started going absolutely hog wild. This year I'm expecting similar results. I grow it mostly just for the bush. There is a particular elderberry, if I was to grow it, they could actually cross-pollinate and I could get elderberries out of this. But I have not done that, and I'm not entirely sure what kind of elderberry it is. I know there's 2 varieties of this red, and I have 1, but I got this off of somebody that was starting them off of clippings, and they were just selling them as ornamental bushes. So over here we have some real magical section of the world. We have currants. These 2 are currant bushes that I have had for 2 years, 3 years now. This will be the 3rd year for these. I planted 2 more back here just last year, so this will be their 2nd year, and they're finally established. I expect them to start producing rather well. I think we got black and red and another black. Black currants make fantastic jams and jellies. If you have not had currant jelly, you really need to get in there and get some currant jelly. Order some online if you must, or if you know of a great fruit stand that has some currant berries there, buy some, follow recipe. Stuff is amazing. And then right here on this trellis we grow Concord grape, and I've got mine hacked all the way back. They'll start sprouting up here in about another 3 or 4 weeks, and then this thing will just be covered in grapes. I have another project that I would like to get started on here to enhance the awesome factor of this particular grape, but we'll see if I get to it this year.